Chapter 2. Mud sucked a deep breath through his teeth. Shannara was gone, and he had to save her. Said I pried the note from Mud's fingers and looked it over. Growling, he gave it back to Mud and walked back into the main room. Mud and Harrow trailed behind, stunned. Said I righted a chair and ran his fingers along the deep gouges in the plush chair back. "What is it?" Mud asked, clutching the note. Said I could track just about anything. If anyone could figure out what happened to Shannara, he could. Said I frowned and pointed at the chair. These gouges were made by heavy draconian swords. "Draconian?" Harrod asked. Said I's brow furrowed in distaste. "You're too young to remember the war against the dragon armies, but draconians were the Dark Queen's foot soldiers. Dragon men, nasty creatures, and a real pain to kill. If they don't turn to stone when they die, trapping your sword inside them, they explode or melt into a pool of acid. The worst ones take the form of the human who killed them, making you think your own comrade is dead, or—" Said I turned away as if not wanting to dredge up any more memories. "Or what?" Hera asked, her eyes round and her cheeks pale. Mud licked the ash from his lips. Smoke hung in the air from the fire that still crackled outside as it consumed the house across the street. The Sabaconians take the shape of someone they killed. You think you're among friends until one of them sticks a knife in your back or slits your throat while you're sleeping. Said I coughed and gritted his teeth. "You think a Draconian took her?" Mud's gut wrenched. "I didn't say that," said I growled. "I can't tell for sure, but the marks here make me think it could be, and whatever it was helping that dragon." "But what could the dragon want with Shannara?" Hera asked. "He can't think we'd be able to pay a ransom for his hoard." "She," said I corrected. "It was a female." Mud rolled his eyes. He didn't care whether the dragon was a he or she or it. "Whatever the dragon wanted, Shannara's hurt," he said. "We have to find her." Said I followed the trail of blood out the front door, across the porch, and down into the street where it ended. Dread seized Mud. Even he could make out the deep gouges in the ground where the dragon had landed. Someone had forced Shannara into the road where the red dragon had taken her. "I'll go after her," Mud cried. Gripping his bow, he bolted down the street in the direction the dragon had gone. Said I took 2 long strides and grabbed his arm, jerking him to a stop. "You'll never catch the dragon. Even if you do, you're no match for her. Let me see that note again." Mud handed over the parchment. His head pounded in his ears as he clenched the bow so hard his hand ached. Tears trickled down Hera's cheeks. Mud put his arm around her, but he was too tense to give much comfort. Said I cleared his throat. "It says to seek the silver dragon. That makes sense. A silver dragon can defeat a red, but Shannara seems to be referring to a specific dragon, not just any silver dragon. Do you know anything about this, Mud?" Mud racked his memories for any time Shannara might have mentioned a silver dragon. Maybe. He charged back into the house and returned to Shannara's shrine, where he wove his way past the basin and moved more overturned chairs to an ancient bookcase that stood in the shadows at the back wall. Rows of leather-bound books sat collecting dust on the shelf. Sight. Recently, for normal human eyes, she had seen visions for more than 40 years before that. For each one she had a scribe record the vision in great detail. Shannara had dictated the most recent books to Mud. He lifted one of the heavy books from the shelf. "Shannara had a vision a few years back. I think I remember something about a silver dragon." Parchment rustled as he opened the cover and flipped through the pages, squinting to decipher his own untidy scrawl. Hera inched up beside him, pulling his arm down so she could see the book. She made a face at his less than perfect handwriting. "You better hope Shannara never looks in this book, now she's got her sight back." Mud let out a sad laugh. He'd be happy to have Shannara scold him if he could just have her back. "Here it is," he said. He held the book up and read. "A vision received on behalf of a boy Karak, who came to Potter's Mills in search of a dragon well, a well made by ancient wizards, who used dragon's blood to create a basin of cursed liquid. This well is, of course, where I received my own powers, at the terrible cost of my natural eyesight. Fearing for the boy's safety, I refused to give him knowledge of the well, and sought a vision on his behalf instead." "Oh, I remember Karak," Hera said, fingering her bow. He wouldn't talk to me, and he jumped at every little noise. I felt sorry for him. Yes, that's him. Mud rested a heavy book on the back of the chair. Always had his hands on his sword hilts. Stop chatting and read, I said. What does this have to do with the dragon? Mud went back to the book and continued with Shannara's account. In this vision I first beheld a silver egg, covered in foul green blood, sitting on an altar. Black-robed wizards surrounded it, chanting. Great evil reached inside me, twisting my soul, trying to distort me into some heinous being. The egg on the altar turned black and cracked open. A group of horrible monsters clawed their way out, and I realized I was witnessing the creation of the Dark Queen's loathsome draconians. At the moment of this hatching, the black robes called up Abishai demons from the abyss. The demons rose above the altar, shrieked, and dived at the hatchlings, taking over their bodies. This scene so haunted me that I wished for it to end, and tried to block it from my mind, but I failed. The last of the monsters out of the egg turned on the Abishai that had come for it. They fought, draconian demon. No, I can't go on describing the scene. When I thought could take no more, the darkness passed, leaving only a terrible feeling of loss. This is it, Mutt said, smoothing the page down flat so he could see it better. Next she talks about the silver dragon. Maybe this will give us some clue. I hope this part is not so hard as the last bit, Hera said. I grunted and motioned for Mud to read on. Mud raised his voice, confident now that he found the right entry. Then I saw a silver dragon, sleek and beautiful, flying over the Vanguard Mountains, searching for something. Great sorrow consumed her. Using her own image, and bestowed upon it a piece of her soul, it could be used to call her and cause her to grant one wish for the summoner. Then she traveled deep into the earth and hid the pendant. To guard it, she set 3 tests: a test of courage, a test of love, and a test of truth. At the end of this vision, I sensed that Correct was meant to search for the pendant and face the tests. I could not see if he would pass them or fail, but I knew failure could mean death. Death? Harriet blurted. Mud, you don't think Shannara means for you to go after the pendant? Mud swallowed. Shannara had sent Karak after the pendant, even knowing it might fail. Mud turned the page and rubbed his fingers across the picture there. Shannara had drawn it during her vision. The power of the seer sight guided her hand, though she could not see the page with normal eyes. The drawing showed a locked stone door with strange runes carved in an intricate arch above it. She had Mud make a copy to give to Karak, saying the pendant lay beyond that door. I have to go after the pendant, Hera, Mud said. Shannara wouldn't have left the note if she didn't think I could get it. Mud's right, I sank into the overstuffed chair next to the basin. Worry and regret filled his eyes. After a long pause he continued, rubbing the stump of the arm he'd lost. You know, I'm too old to go on a quest like this. Mud eased the page from drawing out of the book, avoiding Sedai's eyes. It was true, Sedai wasn't up to a long, dangerous journey. He couldn't defend himself very well with one arm, a recent injury that limited the old soldier's agility. Mud would have to do this alone. Someone has to stay here and keep Hera safe in case the Red Dragon returns, he told Sedai. Sedai grunted in acknowledgement. Hera propped her bow against the basin, put her hands on her hips, and asked, Do you have any idea where that stone door is? Mud shook his head. I think the runes in the pictures may say, but I can't read them. Let me see. Sedai held out his hand for the parchment. Mud gave it to him and waited while Sedai studied it. Stonework as fine as that has to be dwarf-made, and Shamara said it was deep underground. Perhaps the hill dwarves at Green Hollow may know something. There are a number of caves and mines in the mountains above their village. Green Hollow? That's on the other side of the pass along the road to Palanthas, right? Mud asked. Sedai nodded. Mud knew could get there in a few days and have the answers he needed. He only hoped that it would be soon enough to save Shannara. He could think of no reason why a red dragon would want to carry her off. Hera narrowed her eyes and spoke in a clipped tone. And while you're gone, I suppose you think I should stay here and clean up this mess? Mud stared at the blood on the floor. Someone has to, he mumbled. If you have the stomach for it, I can't waste time here. Who knows what the dragon might do to Samara? Oh, I have the stomach for that and a lot more. Hera grabbed her bow and marched out of the shrine. Mud's stomach flipped, and he second-guessed his decision to travel alone. He wasn't afraid, but a little friendly company would be nice. But not Hera. He'd have to watch out for her, and that would slow him down, using precious time that he needed to save Sonara. Instead, I watched Hera go, then stood and clapped Mud on the shoulder. You've grown up a lot and have plenty of experience. If Shannara left a note for you to find the silver dragon, then she knows you can do it. You won't let her down. Right, Mud squared his shoulders and slung the bowl and quiver across his back. I'll just pack a few things and be on my way. End of chapter 2. Bye.